welcome to a very special festive episode. If you are listening to this on one of the platforms that you can't see the visual, myself and Coach Joy has joined us from New York. We are both wearing our Christmas hats. Beautiful Santa. Well, thank you. You too, Joy. I'm very jealous of your fuzzy, furry bit. Mine's
I
very,
know. Like,
very
good one
felted.
there. We look
So,
great. We look great.
so we are here today, obviously, to talk all things Christmas and emetophobia. Joy is an ex-emetophobe herself, so she went through the program to overcome emetophobia. And we were chatting the other day, and Christmas and big family gatherings, similar to that, Thanksgiving, for example, are particularly or can be particularly difficult for people with emetophobia. You can generate a lot of stress around them. So we thought an episode all about Christmas particularly, but this will work really. These tips that we're going to share will work for any big gathering of people, any family parties, birthday parties, anything like that, because these tips are all to help you prepare for those events when you have emetophobia. If you're going through the program, these steps and activities are going to be really helpful in applying the program to the festive season. If you're not going through the program and you're listening to this, it'll give you a really good insight into the kinds of things the program entails. You will note by the end of it, nothing is exposure. It's all very practical, small steps to help you get that bit closer to living your life emetophobia free. So, welcome, Joy. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, lovely to have you. So, Joy, you wanted to start us off today with a very fundamental point to remind yourself going into the festive season that actually your phobia is actually nothing to do with vomit or sickness at all.
Exactly. I think that's the first point or the first tip to always remind yourself that it was never about being sick. And the more you remind yourself of this and the more you remind yourself of what you've been learning, if you're going through the program or if you've listened to our podcasts, that it's more about a component of things that created the perfect recipe to create the fear of sick, right? So it is just understanding and reminding yourself, oh, there's a lot of little things I can do to actually decrease my fear until I completely overcome it. And I don't need to focus on the sickness part. And that's great.
Right. Absolutely great. Yes, it is. And that can be really confusing if you are listening to this before
Yeah,
going through the program. You're thinking, well, surely I need to focus on the sickness part to
right.
overcome it. The emetophobia is just a symptom of you not thriving.
Exactly. It's a symptom of how you're thinking. It's a symptom of how you're seeing things. It's your behaviors. It's your mindset. It's all of this together. So focus on thriving. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the following tips are going to be all around thriving because they are going to help you feel more powerful, more in control, be able to manage your emotions better, and therefore you'll be one step closer to beating your phobia.
Exactly.
So the biggie, or the big, we've both agreed it's the biggest
Yeah.
area to tackle with something like Christmas,
Yes.
is the social side of things. Because
Right.
Christmas, unless you are having it alone, which some people do, for the vast majority of people, it's a social gathering that revolves around lots of people in a generally quite an enclosed space. Generally, well, not always, but sometimes in a cold winter
Yes.
month. You're in a room with people in a cold winter month, and it's all about food. And
Yes.
the meat that's there, if you're a meat eating family, the turkey and all of those things. So there are lots of, things that may cause an emetophobe to create a lot of discomfort around.
Right.
So the social side of things then. The important thing to remember is that social anxiety is a key component to emetophobia. If you don't have social anxiety, you won't have emetophobia. It's one of
Exactly.
the key parts. If you're looking at it like an emetophobia cake, if you're baking a emetophobia cake, social anxiety is one of the main ingredients. Say it's the eggs.
Right.
You can't make a
Right.
cake without the eggs.
Exactly. Yep.
Traditional cake, anyway. So you have to tackle it. You have to look at it.
Right.
Now, when it comes to family or close friends and family who you may be sharing the festive season with, you have to take some steps to really understand how to go about setting boundaries for yourself in this social environment to make sure that you are as prepared and as confident as you can be going into it. Now, the biggie on my part, shall I say, is your emotions become very tangled up or can become very tangled up with other people's emotions when you have emetophobia. For example, you may feel that if you don't eat your turkey or you don't eat enough that's on your plate, you might disappoint somebody. They may even make comments and be disappointed about what you eat or you didn't eat, or what you
Right.
could do on the day or what you couldn't do. Um, there may be a flip side of things. It might be that you've got somebody there who knows about your emetophobia and who is overly praising you for eating little
Right.
things or just for showing up or whatever else it might be. The important point I want to make here is you've got to give the responsibility of their emotions back to them.
Right.
If they show disappointment or express disappointment that you haven't eaten X, Y, or Z, that is their emotion to own. They
Yep.
have created that. It is nothing to do with what you have done.
Right.
Even if you've been used to processing it in that way all your life up to this point, it is not your responsibility or you to blame, if you will, for them creating their emotions. Would
Yes.
you agree with that? Do you have anything to add to that bit, Joy?
100%. I also add that on top of emetophobia, most people create a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
social pressure right
Mm-hmm.
before holiday events because it's a time of, it could be tensions, it can be comparison, it could be pressure, it could be so many things. So
Mm-hmm.
an emetophobe is going in with all of this and emetophobia, and that's a lot, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's really, that's why it's so important to really give away that piece of responsibility
Yeah.
and just be, I'm responsible for myself where I am at
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
And if they're praising me, that's great, but that's on them. And
Yeah.
if they're not happy with me, that's great, but that's on them as well.
That's
And
right.
really taking that step back,
Yeah.
because that just calms down the pressure. It is effort though,
It
right?
is.
When
Yeah.
when you're doing it throughout the whole, however long the holiday is with your family,
Yeah.
but it is so worth it. It is so worth it because it stops you from brooding
Mm.
and from just getting into your head of, am I not doing enough? This is not good. This is,
Yeah.
or is this good enough? What are they thinking? And all of this that
Yes.
is just really
Yes.
unhelpful.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it does take practice. So if you can get in a little bit of practice before, the
Yes.
big day,
Any.
then
Hmm.
do that. You know,
Exactly. Any event is a good place to practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if somebody is displaying negative emotions of any description, if they are upset or they seem a little bit off for whatever reason, being able to tolerate that and not trying to fix it, okay,
Yes.
is really important. So if you go, okay, my emotions, how I'm feeling, that's for me to own. But if they're
Yes.
not happy or they're disappointed or they're angry or they're sad, upset, whatever it might be, that's not my problem to fix. Okay. And I
Yeah.
actually can't fix it. That's not within my power to do so.
Exactly.
But my job is to tolerate it, is to sit with
Hmm.
that discomfort of really wanting to fix it, because a lot of emetophobes do put themselves in that, problem solving mode and try and fix things and make things better and cheer people up. That's not your job, and release yourself from that responsibility. And that takes effort and it takes
Yep.
practice. But, the sooner you start, the easier that becomes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a process.
It is absolutely. Now, on the other side of the coin, if you will, if you're releasing yourself from the responsibility of other people's emotions,
Yep.
you have to really own your own emotions. And
Yes.
that can be a journey in itself as well. So, for example, I'm going to give you an example from my own life here. When I had emetophobia, I would very much get cross at my loved ones for um, doing things with food, particularly that I wouldn't have done myself.
Right.
So, for example, I would be concerned that the meat had been left out too long, or that they'd cut the
Right.
meat on the wrong cutting board, in my eyes.
Right.
This is all from
Right.
my
Right.
perspective. And
Right.
I would get internally
Right.
frustrated with
Right.
whoever was cooking at the time, thinking if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been nervous. I wouldn't be feeling sick right now, okay? Because I'd
Right.
automatically feel sick. It would feel like I would automatically, it wasn't automatic, but I would get frustrated with them and I would almost blame them in
Yes.
my own mind.
Yes. Yes.
You have to own it yourself and go, do you know what? It is not what they are doing. It is not what they've done with the meat. It's not what they've done, you know, putting their hands, wiping their toddler's face and then putting their hands in the communal bowl of chips. That's not
Right.
what's making me feel this way. I am
Yes.
making me feel this way because of how I'm viewing it, because of the story I'm telling myself about it, because of what
Yes.
I'm choosing to focus on.
Yeah.
It's not their responsibility.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll add to this that owning it doesn't mean putting yourself down about it,
No.
right? It's very much just recognizing that you're creating those emotions, that it's about you, but you can equally do this having a kind voice about it towards yourself and being
Yes.
like, "Oh, look what I'm doing. I'm
Yes.
I'm I'm putting this externally to other people, but I'm actually creating this. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What can I do?"
Yeah. That's
And
right.
sort of move through it like this
Yeah.
as your best friend. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you praise yourself for doing it.
Yes,
It's not an
exactly.
easy thing to do when you're in the habit
No,
of looking externally. No.
exactly. And most people, I mean, most people do, right? It is how we generally are brought up to do, to kind of oh, this, you made me feel this way, right? So it is a practice and it doesn't happen like this. So being kind to yourself when you notice, oh,
Yes.
okay, I'm doing this.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely. So, social side of things, big thing to work on. But
Yes.
even if you just do it once throughout the day, even if you really just go into it going, okay, the only thing I've got to worry about is my emotions. If
Yes.
mum says, if dad says, stepmom says, stepdad says, grandma says, granddad says, and you start to worry about what they're thinking, feeling, what they might do, take a deep breath and go, that's not my
Yes.
responsibility.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
adults, or even if they're children, right? But they are other humans. They are
Yes.
creating their own emotions. The only thing I've got to worry about is managing mine.
Exactly. It's really changing your focus, right? It's just focusing on just yourself.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Which leads us nicely into point number 2 and tip number 2, which is take the
Right.
pressure off yourself.
Yes, 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 because as emetophobes, we are so perfectionists,
That's it.
put
Yep.
the bar very, very high, big perfectionist tax. And
Yep.
in those moments, we want to be, there's sometimes we lose maybe what's realistic and we want to be just perfect, right?
Yeah.
Eating all the foods, not worry about anything, and we end up disappointed,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think in this moment, it's the same thing. It's really pacing yourself and being kind with yourself and aiming at a 70%, right? Of
Yeah.
good enough is good enough.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I think a good example would be, if you have that perfectionist lens on and you're putting pressure on yourself to, it's a big day, so therefore there's going to be cameras about, therefore I've got to look my best and everyone will notice if I don't eat the food, so I've got to eat everything that's
Right.
put in front of me. I've got to drink because everyone drinks on Christmas. If you're putting all of these pressures on yourself, it's taking
Yeah.
that step back and going, hang on, what is it going to take for me to enjoy the day? Because you're doing all of those things, eating the food that you don't particularly want to eat, or drinking the drinks you don't want to eat, or dressing yourself up seemingly for other people to make
Right.
sure they
Right.
have a good day so you don't disappoint them or let them down. Take that
Yes.
pressure off and go, okay, I am just as important as everybody else here. What will it take for
Yes.
me to
To
enjoy the
have a
day? I don't need to eat everything that's on the plate in front of me. If I just want to eat this is coming from my own lens, right? A big plate of roasties and nothing else, I'm going to eat the big plate of roasties and nothing else, maybe a bit of gravy, right? That,
yeah,
that's
that's
okay.
absolutely fine. Yes.
That, right?
Yes.
That will allow me to enjoy my
Yes.
day and feel
Exactly. And
relaxed.
you will feel probably a little bit of discomfort as
Yeah,
you choose
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Sit with it,
Yes.
and realize that it's okay that nothing is happening, and that
Mm,
it's what people do,
mm.
right? Is just think about, allow yourself to think a little bit about yourself, a little bit more about what you want.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember being I don't think it was Christmas, but it was a family gathering anyway. And having gone through the program, and I asked myself, I was sat at the table and I thought, I'll just go in to watch what everybody eats and doesn't eat. Nobody else around this table has emetophobia. And I noticed, well, they've not eaten their sprouts. They've left a little bit of everything. They've not eaten it.
Yes.
And it wasn't because that they were emetophobic or there was anything wrong with the food.
Right.
They just didn't want to eat it. They got full or they
Yes.
didn't enjoy that thing. And I was putting so much pressure on myself to finish my plate just in case somebody noticed that I
Yes.
wasn't eating.
Yes. Yes.
It's not necessary.
Yes.
It's just a
Exactly.
perfectionist lens.
Yep.
Take the pressure off.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay. Next top tip then would be to focus on the positives.
Yes.
So this one, Joy, do you want to take us into this one?
Sure. Sure. I mean, same thing as the pressure. There's a tendency of seeing what we failed at, what we weren't able to do,
Mm-hmm.
especially sometimes as you start overcoming emetophobia, where you're really proud of your progress and suddenly you see something. But it's about really focusing on what is going to go well today, and also at the end of that day, what did go well
Yeah.
today.
Yes.
And really changing, it's always a question of perspective, right? It's always
Yes.
where you decide to turn your head to put the lens that you want to put on, and this really will change your whole experience, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Brilliant. Okay. So my
Yes.
addition to this, a little activity, a little task that you can set yourself is almost imagine that you are 90 years old. Okay,
Hmm.
so you have gone through your life, you are 90 years old, and you are looking back on this particular Christmas day. What are you going to remember? What do you want to remember?
Yes.
What can you focus on and be grateful for on that day that you may
Yes.
not have when you're 90? So it can be
Exactly.
simple things as, I'm healthy. I'm healthy.
Yes.
My body works. I've got all
Yes.
my family around me. I've got the people that I love around me. Um, they're happy, they're healthy. We have enough food on the table, we have a house to eat in. There's so many things that you can choose to
Yep.
focus on if you just take that little bit of time, because sometimes we just get so wrapped up in our own thoughts when you have emetophobia because it's so all consuming. It's 90%
Yes.
of our
Yes.
thoughts around the
Yes.
day are all about vomit and
Yes.
sickness, that
Yes.
we very rarely take the time to take a step back and go, hang on a minute, what can I be grateful for today? And it doesn't need to be
Exactly.
massive. It can be
Exactly.
that beautiful present that you've just got if you want it to be, but it can just be, my body works. It's
Yes.
healthy. I'm not in
Yes.
pain. Like it
Yes.
can just be as simple as that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So take the time to do that before you get into the day. Now, another step to take before you get into the day is using your imagination powerfully. Now, we have a whole podcast on imagination,
Yes.
but let's just run through exactly how we can use our imagination with a Christmas day
Right.
specifically.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
instead of imagining an emetophobic way of tackling the day, you want to put some effort and some time, set it aside somewhere nice and quiet where you go, okay, realistically, and that's important, realistically, at this point in my journey, wherever I am, maybe I'm right at the start and I've got really severe emetophobia, maybe I'm near the end and I can start challenging some of these things that I'm doing. Wherever you are in your journey, take some time to sit down. Okay, how would it look for me to actually enjoy and cope with and feel at ease with this day? And what would that look like? So
Yes.
you're not
Yes.
imagining going and pretending that you're fine, as most emetophobes
Yes.
do, or certainly I did,
Right.
pretending that I'm calm eating this Christmas dinner when really I'm going, oh, what if that's touched that? And what if that's stripped on that? And was this refrigerated and has it been cooked? If I'm sitting there imagining myself doing that,
Yep.
that's ultimately what I'm going to do.
Yep.
But that's not the experience I want. What I actually want to do is
Right.
I want to sit at that table and I want to feel calm,
Right.
genuinely calm.
Right.
I want to be seeing everybody's face, having their conversation, wearing them dodgy paper hats, pulling their crackers, genuinely enjoying the
Right.
situation. And if that in my imagination means just having my plate of roasties, then that's what I'm going to imagine,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
imagining how I want it to go in terms of everything on the outside is seemingly perfect. What does it look like internally to feel at peace and to feel calm and how you want to be feeling in that situation?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for imagination, it's tricky because sometimes we do, like you said, we lose a bit of where we are right now and imagine just something going a little bit unrealistically, a little bit too well,
Mm.
even a bit too well for anyone,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
But it's really reminding yourself that imagination, that thriving is an active process, right?
Yeah.
So just as not thriving is.
Yep.
So when you imagine yourself, you want to imagine yourself actively
Yes.
putting the effort of being present,
Yes.
actively putting the effort of having a good time,
Yeah.
actively helping yourself out of a moment where maybe you think you might create a little bit of anxiety at that moment. Like make it really realistic.
Right.
And I always say a good way of practicing this is practice it on something that you've done before and that you've had a hurdle and you saw yourself getting yourself out of it, right? Because you've done it before. And then do it for an event that creates a little bit of anxiety. And I think this, yeah, a Christmas event is perfect, but really be, like you said, realistic of where you are right now.
Right.
Um, so your brain will believe it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not only imagining yourself externally doing what you want to be doing, eating your plate of roasties, you're imagining your inner voice at that moment
Yes.
being calm, at that
Yes.
moment being kind, at that moment being your own best friend, at that
Yes.
moment going, oh, I've created a little bit of anxiety here. Well done me for spotting that. That's brilliant. I'm
What can I
okay
do?
with it. I can get
Yep.
through it. Okay. We'll
Yep.
come on to what we can do in a minute with if you do create a bit of anxiety on the day.
Yeah.
That's another tip coming up. But for this particular one, imagine yourself responding to it how you want to respond to it rather than how you fear you may respond to it or how you're in the habit of
Yes.
responding to it. Because if you're in the habit of getting that first wave of nausea or anxiety and then going down the panic and then going, oh, it's the food, I need to put it down. If that's the way you are in the habit of responding, you want to imagine responding more powerfully
Yes.
than that.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Such a good tip. Imagination's everything.
Yeah. Brilliant. Next one, then. Again, something you can do before the event, but also runs through the event as well, runs through Christmas Day, is challenge the catastrophic thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. We're so good at it.
We're so good at it. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So, the what ifs, right? So,
The what ifs. Yeah.
the majority of our catastrophic thoughts are negative catastrophic thoughts instead of positive, and
Yes.
they start with what if. Well, what
Right.
if it
Right.
hasn't been refrigerated? What if the turkey wasn't fully defrosted? What if this has dripped on that? What if?
Yep.
Okay, we have
Yep.
all of these what if thoughts. First thing to do is spot them. If you hear yourself saying
Yep.
what if, you go, oh, pat myself on the
Right.
back. Well done, me. What was that thought? Let's really look at it. Okay.
Exactly.
So label it, praise yourself for spotting that it's a catastrophic thought, and then really go to town on looking for the evidence for it.
Yes.
Reality
Yes.
check it.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So if, I mean, again, speaking from hindsight of having this thing for 20 years, my big thing was always the cross contamination, which is different for every emetophobe, right? Some people listen to this and be like,
right.
actually, it's not the food at all, it's other people
Right.
being ill, for example.
Right.
So let's take
Right.
that example. What if
Yes.
somebody else is ill? What if they've got the stomach flu or norovirus and somebody else is ill while I'm there?
Yes. Yes.
You go, okay, what if that? Brilliant. Well done me for spotting it. That's a catastrophic thought. Where's the evidence? Let's look at the
Exactly.
evidence that that may happen. What's more likely? Is it more
Exactly.
likely somebody's going to have norovirus, or is it more likely that they're not? Right?
Yes.
Even if they say
Yes.
they feel unwell, what's more likely on Christmas that they've overindulged in chocolate or had a too big of a meal or overindulged in the Baileys, whatever it might be? Well, they've got the stomach flu. So
Right.
we're not saying that they won't have it. We can't guarantee that. But what's more
Right.
likely?
Yep.
And where's
Yep.
the evidence for it? And then really
Exactly.
praise yourself for going, okay, I've done the what if, somebody's ill. I've really unpicked that, looked at the evidence surrounding it, then flip it and go, okay, what if they're not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then really
And I'll add,
head. Go on.
yes. And I'll add to this that some thoughts are, and you'll notice them, that some thoughts are so catastrophic and so that you don't even need to evidence them.
No.
Have a laugh with yourself about
Yes.
them.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
sort of tell yourself, because that cancels it right away. Like,
It
wait,
does.
did I really think
Yeah,
this?
yeah, yes. It does. It
How?
does. Yeah. Yeah.
And just really laugh with yourself, and yeah, that just minimizes it right away, and it gives you the evidence right away that this was just a thought. And
That's it.
we'll get to that, but thoughts are not facts. And
Yeah.
and it just um yeah, we're just in the habit of creating interesting connections as a metaphors.
We are.
Or
We
were. I
are.
mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we're. Yes. We're just speaking from experience. It's
Yeah, exactly.
a lovely side of the fence to be on when we're looking at this
Yes.
from hindsight and from the past and being able to say, this is what we did and we totally get what you're doing here.
Yes.
But this is the way out. You have to do
Yes,
these things.
exactly.
It's effortful. You've got to put the work in. But this
Exactly.
is the road out because we're both sat
Yeah.
here, used to be like this, used to really
Yes.
dread these things. And
Yes.
now, I don't know about you, Joy, but all I'm doing is really looking forward to the mince pies.
Yes. Yes. Same.
And seeing all my family that I don't see. I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Very different life experience.
Very different. Very different. So we've challenged the catastrophic thoughts. Let's have a look at something now. Obviously, in the moment, you can challenge those catastrophic thoughts because you may create them while you're sat at the dinner table
Yes.
or while you're having a drink
Yes.
with your family. You may have that
Yes.
catastrophic thought, so you can
Yes.
do this before and during. During the event, during Christmas, you may create a little bit of anxiety. You may have an unhelpful thought and then follow it down the little rabbit hole and create some
Right.
anxiety. You may start to feel a little bit unwell because we know, mind body connection. If my
Sure.
thoughts are catastrophic, my body's going to respond as if that threat is real, even though it is not, it's just perceived. So you might create some anxiety. In that moment, Joy, what should we do?
uh, Catch it and praise yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where, at what point you catch it, really. It doesn't matter. It just matters that you catch it and you redirect yourself, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you caught yourself just a moment you had the thought and didn't create a lot of anxiety, but maybe you caught yourself when you created a little bit more anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, you're catching yourself. That's all you need to do, really, because the more you get, you can catch yourself,
Yep.
the less you create those thoughts to begin with, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
And being extra kind with yourself when you don't catch it when you wanted to catch it, right? Because
Yes.
again, we're going back to that pressure, which always sometimes doesn't allow you to see the good job that you're doing.
That's right.
Of catching your thoughts. So yeah, that's all you need to do. Just catch it.
Brilliant.
Praise yourself. Evidence. Get something a little bit more realistic and move on with your day. Go back to your focus on what you want to enjoy, and repeat.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yes.
Yes. And to help you with that, what you can do is before the event, you reflect back on I'm sure, thousands of times you've created anxiety in the past. You know what it feels like, and if you've started this program, the language or the things that you can say to yourself that help you to gain perspective again. So
Yes.
you can have a few sentences, if you will, saved in your phone
Yes.
to go, okay, I've caught it. All right, what do I need to do? So you'll get your phone up and your notes, and it could say something like, I've handled this before, I can handle it again.
Exactly.
I'm creating this, it's my thoughts creating the anxiety. They're not facts. This is temporary. It will pass. I've got this. I can get through it.
Yes.
And then give yourself permission to take a break. Christmas is very social. There's lots of people around all of the time. Give yourself permission to go, okay, if I do create a bit of anxiety, I'm just going to say, I'm just going to step outside for some air and go and have 2 minutes. Step outside with some air.
Yes.
If you want to take, go into another room and listen to your favorite piece of music, or whatever else it might be that works for you, because everybody's different,
Yes. Yes.
give yourself permission to do that and remind yourself that it's the perfectionist lens that's making you think, oh, I couldn't do that. Because if you really think about, all of your friends and family, if some of them were just feeling, oh, this is a bit much, I just want to go and have 5 minutes, you'd go, yeah, go and have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
wouldn't think twice about that. You would allow that space to somebody else to manage their thinking. You've got to give yourself that
Exactly.
grace.
Exactly. I really agree. I think there's a tendency with emetophobes or perfectionists in general to think that there's something wrong if you have human moments of
Yes,
needing something,
yes.
when actually, and this is what creates the anxiety, right? It's
Mm,
believing
mm,
that there is something wrong. But when you look around yourself, like you said, and you realize, oh well, actually people do take breaks, 5-10 minutes
mm.
breaks, or they go lay down and read a book for 10 minutes, and or they listen to their favorite music. Um, People do this is helping them, and this
Yes.
is but we've somehow, as metaphors, we see it differently. We see it
Yeah,
as this that I shouldn't do that.
do that.
But
Yeah.
actually you can and you
Yeah.
should.
Yes, absolutely, and
Yes.
and I
Yes.
certainly do in my family, but hasn't everybody got that uncle that falls asleep after
Yeah.
just goes to sleep in the
Exactly.
corner, or takes
Yes.
themselves off to go and watch X program or this King's
Yes.
Speech we have in this country,
Yes.
in
Yes.
another room, and then they go and have
Yes.
a little lie down.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
all have those, or I don't say we
Yeah.
all have, but
Yeah.
most people have those kind of
Yeah.
characters. We don't judge
Exactly.
them for that, and we don't
Exactly.
presume there's something wrong with them for that. So if you're holding
Yeah.
yourself to some sort of higher regard, that
Right.
you need to be not allowed to do that, or you should be able to power through the day and be present and be fully engaged and fully there at all times. Why?
Exactly. Right.
Why?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Afford
Yeah.
yourself the same gift, if you will, of
Exactly.
allowing yourself to have that downtime.
Yeah. And it all comes down to you're enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. Like you don't have to prove anything, and you just can be. If you're someone that needs a nap in the afternoon, you need a nap in the afternoon. That's
That's it.
okay.
That's it.
And just allowing yourself to tell yourself that you're enough, because those whole behaviors just come from believing
Yes.
that you're not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bob on. So sit with the anxiety, don't run from it,
Yeah.
remind yourself that you can cope with it,
Yes.
that it will
Yes.
pass. The minute you try to go, oh, okay, I've created some anxiety here. How do I get out of it? How do I make it stop? How do I feel better again? The minute you do that, you're maintaining it because you're focusing on it. The minute you go,
Yes.
okay, I've created some anxiety, no biggie, I can sit with this feeling. I've had this feeling thousands of times. Well done, me. I've spotted it. Let's refocus on what I want to focus on. Let's move my attention off this anxiety rather than trying to stop it. It loses the
Yes.
majority of its power.
Yes, exactly. And that's the key. Like redirecting is different than stopping,
Yes, it is.
right? Redirecting is just, okay, this happened. I'm feeling it, but I'm just going to focus on something else. Stopping is, okay, I need to get out. I
Yeah.
need to run from this. And
Yes.
that's the difficult part, because that creates, you can't,
Yes.
right? So that creates that stuck feeling
Yes. It
and
does.
that wanting to run away. So,
Yes.
yeah, two
Yeah.
different perspective.
You've just reminded me. I'm just looking at the time, see if we've got some time, tiny bit more time. You've just reminded me of another thing that we haven't actually discussed. Your language around the
Yes.
anxiety is really important. So if you say,
Yes.
oh, this is making me anxious, Christmas making
Mm,
me
mm,
anxious, this food is making me anxious, this person's making me anxious, you are giving your power away to it. You
exactly.
really need to own your language and make sure that it's active and make sure that it's internal. So you want to be phrasing things externally to other people as well as internally, like, I'm just creating a bit of anxiety right now. I've
Yes.
just got
Yes.
myself a little bit anxious. That's
Yes.
really important because then you see it as something you can do something about. You
Yep.
can
You're in control.
own it. You're in control of it. If it's happening to you, you are not in control.
Mm,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes. This goes back to our first point.
It does. Nice of the room.
Exactly. Owning it.
Own it. Yeah. Own it in a very kind way to yourself to go,
Yes.
do you know what? Every
Very
time I
important.
own
Yes.
this is a power move. Because what I'm doing
Yes.
here is I'm going, right, this is me. I'm creating this. brilliant, I can do something about it. It's a power move.
Yes,
It's
it's an
brilliant.
opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely
Yes,
is.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yeah,
Very final point then, as I know we're running short of time, processing powerfully. So this kind of comes during
yes,
and after the event.
yes. So it's really focusing on what you did, right? How did you make this moment great? How did you have a good time? And also processing all the things that you enjoyed,
Yeah.
right? So it's a mix of both, and it's really focusing on the effort that you put in versus anything external, right? It's
Yeah.
going back to that internality.
Yeah.
What was your power in that moment? And when you remember that, it's you're sort of building evidence for a skill, right? Evidence of your power. And so when you go to the next day at the event, let's say, there's a lot you're doing, that you're influencing
Yes.
this moment for yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, processing it really internally, your skills, what you did, what you loved,
Yes.
what you learned
Yeah.
also, because
Yeah.
maybe you learned, oh, I didn't take responsibility there, maybe I will
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Just like a little recap
Yeah.
of the day, but like you said, always in a safe, kind space with yourself, because this is just data,
Yeah.
right? It's just data to help you learn that you're capable and
Mhm.
learn what you can keep building
That's
upon.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
So if we take one of the fundamental parts of the program and talk about beliefs,
Yeah.
beliefs are just stories that you tell yourself and repeat. Okay.
Yes.
So you've
Yes.
told yourself for a long time that Christmas is stressful, or Christmas is
Yeah.
scary, or Christmas is a lot, or you don't enjoy it. What you need to be looking at is going, okay, what story can I tell myself here that's going
Yeah.
to help me create the life I want for myself? So perhaps you can get to the end of that day and go, hmm, actually, I
Yeah.
can do quite well in
Do that.
family situations. I'm quite good at handling my anxiety when I create it in a social situation. I can be
Yes.
relaxed around lots of
Yes.
different food and drink. I can learn when I'm being catastrophic. I can spot my catastrophic thoughts. I can do
Yes.
all of these things. And this is the story you're telling yourself. I actually
Right.
quite enjoyed parts of that. It might not be the whole day. There might be parts you didn't enjoy, but actually, I quite enjoy parts of big family gatherings. Look at what you're telling yourself, look at the story you're telling yourself about the experience, and make sure it's powerful,
Exactly.
make sure it's positive.
Yes. Yes.
Brilliant. Okay.
Perfection.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay. So all of that, we hope it's been really helpful. There's been lots of points in there. I think perhaps 7. I
Yes.
didn't actually stop to count them, but I would say around 7 points we had
Yes.
there of things you can
Yes.
actively do and be working on. There's 2 weeks till Christmas at the time of recording this. So there's time to be working on it, time to be putting the effort in to get yourself to a space where you can enjoy part of the festive season, if not all of it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And from
That
all
was
of us here
great.
on the Emetophobia-Free team, we wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas.